Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another episode of Marvel vs. DC. This has some new issues, some back issues, a whole bunch of other stuff. This is where I read some Marvel, some DC, some independent comics, and we see who wins the week. And as you could tell, the books going by you right here, the covers you're seeing are the books that are going to be reviewed and graded and put up against each other. And simple. I read them, I rate them. It's a 30-second review just to give you a visceral idea of whether they were good or they were bad. Did I like them? Did I not like them? Obviously, with 24 books, I can't go into deep detail about each one of them, or that would be like a 4-hour video. And then I score them. 1 star is horrible, 2 stars bad, 3 stars average, 4 stars good, and 5 star is excellent. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and you do get every video in order from worst to best. So the very first video you'll see, or review you'll see, is the worst comic book of the week, and then of course the last one, the best. The scoring is pretty simple. There's 24 books. First place gets 24 points. Last place gets 1. And there you go. I just add them up. If independent, DC, or Marvel, whichever one has the highest score, that's what wins. And the competition is just something I like to do. It's just for fun, so don't take it all seriously. Although I am a DC guy, I do read these things with an open mind. And if it's a bad DC book, man, I will count it as a bad book. And with all that aside, let's get this party started. The 1-star books, man, these are some bad, horrible books and should be avoided at all cost. The Dark Knight, the Golden Child by Frank Miller. Oh my gosh, remember when we used to say his name and it was like, wow, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. I've always warned about doing a message before story, and it seems Frank has gone down that road here, but I'm not quite sure even he knows what his message is. Poor art, bad story, and misunderstanding of what the characters should stand for. This is a complete train wreck. Deathbringer could be considered what is wrong with all of comics today. What we have is a character, Donna Troy. She's been around forever and a day, and instead of finding out what kind of character she is, what motivates her, and so forth and so on, they just say, okay, well, let's do this because it sounds cool. And it isn't, because ultimately it betrays what the character has been and has stood for. My goodness gracious. It's a mess from beginning to end. There is no redemption here. Spider-Man and Venom, Double Trouble #1, and boy, did this book suck. So you know what? In all honesty, I'm not the audience for this. I'm a 49-year-old guy, and this is obviously made for kids. They're always wearing their costumes. They do silly cartoon things. So take that as you will. I unfortunately did not like this at all, but once again, not the target audience. The 2-star books are merely bad. Maybe they have this little something that keeps them from being horrible. BB Free #1, written by Gabby Rivera, and I am happy to say it's not a fluke. She really is this bad. Incapable of writing likable characters, this book takes place in an apocalyptic Florida where swamps are where swamps never are. Anyway, like I said, the BB Free is unlikable. It's a setup that, and oh wait, I do have to say this though. It is a little bit better than America. So perhaps in 15, 20, 35 years, we may get a good book out of Gabby Rivera. The 3-star books, they're average. I read them and either liked them but not enough to recommend them, or I read them and they were like, just doesn't resonate with me. Either way, they just had this one little thing that kept them from being good. Red Agent, Island of Dr. Moreau. So you have these 2 girls, of course, drawn like Xenoscope women are, and they're recruited by the government to go after Dr. Moreau, of course, all gender swapped because Xenoscope. It's entertaining. Not much more than what I described happens here. It's got decent art. There is absolutely nothing offensive about this story. More than likely, you'll read it, you'll like it, and then quickly forget about it. Star #1. If I'm being honest, half of this book is really good, and then she shows off her power. She's got a freaking Infinity Stone, which I think Marvel's going to that well way too much. Overall, I kind of like the fact that she seems to be a villain more than a hero, and I think they should keep it that way. Don't make her noble. Don't make her an anti-hero at all. Let her be a villain. Let's watch the creation of a villain here. What we get is okay at best, but it definitely could be better. Wonder Woman Dead Earth. You know, when I first saw this, I was excited because I thought it was going to be a continuation of Deceased. Instead, it's a story about Wonder Woman waking up into a dead Earth. The nuclear apocalypse had happened, and she's there to inspire people to live better and to do better. We've seen it before. There's nothing magnificent about this. The art is even a little bit wonky, to tell you the truth. Not bad, but when you add in the price, that's when the trouble starts. Conan the Serpent War #1. This is absolutely an A-team scene book, you know, where it's like dun 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 dun. They're putting all their weapons together. This is let's meet the team that's going to fight the big old serpent. That's it. And it's like, hey, I see this warrior, and then they tell the story of that warrior, and I see this guy, and they tell a little story about that. We also get backstory of the guy who's doing all the seeing. It's really an interesting story without being like, oh, God, that was amazing. But at least it's intriguing enough to continue. Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality #1. I am following this series just because I want to find out how the heck did the Hobgoblin pull off what he pulls off here by altering reality, making him the Sorcerer Supreme, so forth, so on. There's a lot of really interesting things going on here, but I can't really say this is an excellent book or anything. It's kind of average, but it's got a great premise. Batman #86 wasn't bad, which makes it leaps and bounds over what we've been getting before from Tom King. I'm quite surprised. This book, however, has so much in it. It's almost like the Rise of Skywalker version of Batman, where it seems like he's trying to make up for what came before, as well as set up the next phase of Batman's life. So there's not a lot going on in the here and now as far as this issue is concerned, but a lot of either in the past or in the future. The 4-star books are good, and I am happy to be able to recommend them to you. The Archie art of Francesco Francavilla is definitely going to be an acquired taste. I like Archie comics. I like the new stuff, and I definitely like the Archie horror stuff. And that is really the focus here. At least to me, it's one of the main reasons why I like the book enough to pick it up. But it's got some great recreations. I love the oversized books that just let you really kind of bask in the art a little bit, so you could see the details of it a little bit more. I've got a few of these, and this is definitely one to pick up if you're a fan. Obviously, this is so subjective. Conan Exodus, man, I've sung the praises of sequential art, of the art of storytelling without words so much. I really do enjoy this book. I'm thinking price tag versus reading time, though. These days, that's actually a thought of mine. I can't believe the high price of comics have made me a little bit weary of books like this. There are no words. It's all story told visually, and it is amazing. But you could read it in less than 10 minutes. Detective Comics 1015 is not the book I should have made the big return to Detective Comics with. It's in the middle of a story, and Nora Freeze is a villain now? The hell happened? This is actually a pretty good story, and it's something we've seen before, but it is a very entertaining story where somebody you think is going to be one way turns out to be another. I mean, heck, she's more vicious than Mr. Freeze, and all this time we've gotten this kind of idea of a noble Nora. I think this is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I want to see where it goes. Hag #1 really kind of hit me as an Old Man in the Sea version, horror movie version, I should say. And it really is effective. Most of it is just this guy on the water remembering his life, understanding that bad things are afoot and he needs to go help a friend. Of course, he sees monsters on the water and thinks about the old times when sailors would see mermaids and they actually turned out to be manatees. Really good storytelling, really good writing. The art's a little bit off sometimes, but it doesn't really hurt the book overall. I think this is, oh my goodness, I'm glad I picked it up, and I can't wait for next issue. Daredevil #13, man, I haven't been able to keep up on a lot of comics, so I picked this issue up, and holy Toledo, it's so good, except for who's this guy that they say is the Kingpin, because the Kingpin I know wouldn't be worried about killing someone with his bare hands. In this one, he's like, Wesley, I don't know what to do. So Wesley comes over and is a cleaner for him. It's an amazing story, and had I known nothing about Daredevil or the character of the Kingpin, I would just absolutely love it. Now I'm just wanting to read back issues and wondering, how did we get to this moment? Folklords number 2. So our travelers have a decision to make. Either go around the dark forest they've heard only bad things about, or go through it. Of course they're going through it. You got a story to tell. One of the things in this story is we find out that his friend is cursed. The elf is cursed, and he doesn't realize it yet. So that's going to be interesting. It's a really good book, guys. If you're looking for an independent comic book to pick up, this one could be it. Metal Men number 1. So it's funny because breaking down heroes and villains seems to be in fashion now. You know, we can't have anybody in the here and now and be a heroic and so forth and so on the way we used to know them. So it amazes me when a book comes along and does it right. Now, this isn't a perfect book, but it's a damn entertaining one, and it really does bring it down to the basic level for the Metal Men, and I'm really interested to see how they build it back up. Something is Killing the Children, number 3. So number 2 was a bit of a downturn for me after an excellent number 1, but I'm glad to say that Something is Killing the Children, number 3, brings everything right back on track. It's character through action. It's entertaining. It's bloody. It's a horrific kind of story that is sort of a mystery, you know, drawing you in. I'm very interested in see what's happening in number 4, as the characters really finally seem to be taking off at this point. Strange Skies Over East Berlin, number 2. I'm glad to say this book holds up. Now, once the art is a little bit wonky, but it fits the story so well. It's basically about an American spy who is over in Berlin, thinks he's getting caught, but manages to find out that the Germans have an alien. Dun, dun, dun. Really good espionage / sci-fi tale. Folklords number 1 is one of the better independent books to come down the pike. So you got this kid. He lives in like a medieval kind of fantasyland village, and they have to choose a quest to go on. This kid's quest is to go to find something called the Folklords. Immediately as it's announced, these Inquisitor types come in and say that it's outlawed. Not only that, but every quest from here on in should be stuff like watch your neighbors, see if they're saying something about the Inquisitor, the leaders of the village. And everything seems to be as if they are now going to clamp down and become a bit of a dictatorship. And these 2 kids decide that instead of doing that, they're actually going to escape the village and go on this quest to find these illegal now folklords that they're talking about. Very good story. A lot better than what I'm describing it as. If you get a chance, check this out. Doctor Doom number 1. I'm glad we get to see Doctor Doom back. He's no longer a Tony Stark ripoff. He's his own character again. This is what we like about Doctor Doom. You know, he's evil to the rest of the world, to the people in the country. He's a bit of a dictator, but to those around him, they seem to actually like him as a leader. I like that. I'm willing to go forward on this, especially with the cliffhanger ending of him supposedly attacking the moon base that's supposed to save the world. The Dollhouse family is quite an interesting little tale, as this girl inherits a dollhouse and realizes that, oh my gosh, the little dolls inside come to life. But not only that, they bring her right on in. It reminded me a little bit of, not Matilda, Caroline. And because she likes that family better. So I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. Yes, the second issue and the third issue are out. I'm going to check those out as well. This is a really cool story. If this is the new Vertigo, I'm in. Suicide Squad number 1. At first, I was a little upset that they were rebooting. I'm like, come on, really? Then I realized this is a book that you could actually reboot many times over with different teams. In this case, I think they've got a pretty good one, but they even remark on the fact that they've got lame heroes in here, like the Cavalier, Magpie. Really? So, yeah, it's exciting. It's bloody. It's everything that a Suicide Squad book should be. And the 5-star books, they're excellent. They may not be Watchmen quality and going to be classics from here on in, but damn, they do get the job done. The Amazing Mary Jane number 1. Now, they're up to issue number 3 at the time of this recording. I am catching up, gang. So this is pure fun. This reminded me of Superman's girlfriend, but modernized, so she's not all about, oh, please, please, Spider-Man, marry me. You know, she's out making a movie about Mysterio being the hero. So it's a lot of fun. It really is. You got to check this book out if you haven't already. My goodness gracious. I'm very impressed. I hope this quality keeps up. So there you go, guys. Those are the reviews. Now it's time to tally up the scores. Independent comic books have books at positions 21, 20, 14, 11, 9, 7, 6, and 5 for a score of 87. Marvel had books at 1, 4, 10, 13, 16, 17, 19, and 3 for a score of 98. And DC Comics had books at positions 2, 3, 8, 12, 14, 17, 23, and 24 with a score of 95. Making Marvel the big winner of the week. Congratulations to the House of Ideas. So there you go, gang. Those are the reviews. Those are the scores, the tally, who won. I was actually surprised DC did so well, considering they had the first and second, but gotta love that Suicide Squad, man. That really, really was cool. Anyway, let me know. What did you agree with? Did I review something wrong, or did I review something right? Is something way too high on the list, or is it way too low on the list? Let me know in the comments below, of course. Don't forget, if you haven't done it already, to hit that subscribe, like, share. Sharing is very important to the channel right now. Get word out about there so we could hit that 1,000. And if you haven't done it already, ring that notification bell, making sure your notifications are on for Google and for YouTube. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon, drop $1 in the till, and helps keep the lights on, helps keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers out there, thank you very, very much for watching. And don't forget to click on one of the videos that are just about to pop up and say, hey, watch me.